right, everybody, welcome to Dodger Stadium here on the Saturday game of the week. This is the first of many, as this is the opening Saturday game. It was played April the 10th at Dodger Stadium. Figured I'd go cheesy, so cheesy intro, cheesy all the way. I can't do my Vin Scully because I don't have a Vin Scully. That's Ron Juckett's area. And I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night, so that doesn't help me either. But you're stuck with me, so here we go. We're going to go for this ride throughout the 82 season. Now, one of the things is this game is played April the 10th. Well, this coming Saturday is May the 15th, so about a month behind. So what I'm going to have to do is play a couple of these games early on, maybe 2 a week, to get caught up. And then once you get caught up to the actual calendar here in 2021, then I'll keep it to a Saturday game of the week. Now, what I'm doing for picking these games, if I have knowledge that this was the actual NBC game of the week, then I'll use it. If I don't, on a certain Saturday, I just go to Baseball Reference, pick all the day games, and try to figure out, A, which one would they have covered, and B, if I don't know, then I'll just pick one, maybe pick a team that doesn't get shown very often. I don't know, but I was told on good authority that the first NBC game of the week in 1982 was, in fact, this game from April the 10th, San Diego Padres and the Los Angeles Dodgers. It's Fernando Valenzuela getting the start, which probably was one of the reasons why they chose this game, because Fernando coming off that brilliant rookie season in 81. Next week, we'll travel to the American League. It'll be the Yankees and the Tigers from Tiger Stadium. And then the next couple weeks after that are games I don't know the schedule on as far as the game of the week. So I'm just picking the best ones I have. Now, YouTube did give me there are some videos out there. So I do know about 3 weeks in a row in May and into early June where I know exactly what the game of the weeks were. But, we kind of have to just do the best I can. All right, so like I said, Fernando Valenzuela is on the mound, and he'll be opposing Juan Eichelberger of the Padres. Let's look at the starting lineups for both teams, and we'll bring the score sheet into place so you can see it. And for the Padres, we have Luis Salazar leading off at third. Juan Bonilla leads off plays second and bats second. Gary Templeton's at shortstop hitting third. Cleanup hitters Rupert Jones in center. Sixto Lezcano's in right. He hits fifth. Kurt Bavacqua is at first base. He hits sixth. Catching is Terry Kennedy batting seventh. Batting eighth is left fielder Dave Edwards. And pitching is Juan Eichelberger batting ninth. For the Dodgers, Steve Sachs will lead off at second. Ken Landreau's in center. Dusty Baker's in left. Garvey's at first. Ron Say's at third. Pedro Guerrero's in right. Mike Scioscia, the catcher. Bill Russell at short. And Fernando Valenzuela is doing the pitching. Now, if you're familiar with Strat-O-Matic at all, you know they don't give you all the players. But I do have the 1982 season on the computer. So what I did was I went and printed the missing players for each team that weren't carded. For the Dodgers, that was Ted Power. I tried to make them about the same size as the Strat card. I'm obviously a little bit off there, but, obviously this is good enough just for me to use in this game. I just printed this on regular printer paper, did not use stock or anything like that. So Ted Power is missing from the Dodgers as far as being the carded player. So let's look at the Dodger bullpen, see who they have available in today's game. They have Steve Howe and Terry Forster from the left side. And, of course, from the right side, they have four. They have Alejandro Pena, Dave Stewart, Dave Goltz, who was later traded to California, and then, of course, Ted Power. Let's look at the bench for the Dodgers, see who they have available off the bench. And they have quite a few, as most teams didn't carry a lot of pitchers like they do today. So Dodgers have three lefties off the bench. They have Jay Johnstone, who would later go to the Cubs. They have George Orta, and they have Rick Monday. From the right side, they have Mark Belanger and Steve Yeager, and then two switch hitters, Ron Renicky and Daryl Thomas. And I'm getting this information from the Strat-O-Matic computer. Also used Diamond Mine Baseball computer to make sure I had the correct 25-man rosters or 24-man rosters or whatever they had back then. Let's look at the Padres, and they are missing quite a few of their pitchers from the computer game. Not quite a few. They're missing one. I don't know why I say quite a few. But they are missing a couple guys off the bench. Let's look at their bullpen. They do have 3 righties and 3 lefties. The right-handers, Floyd Schiffer, Eric Howe, and Luis De Leon. Those are the right-handed options available to the Padres. And left side, John Curtis, Gary Lucas, and somebody I had to print, Danny Boone. Again, he is printed from the Strat-O-Matic PC. I don't have the player app, card app. I just use the PC. Got them pretty close together on the sizes, so it didn't come out too bad. And for anybody that wonders how to do that, well, I'll talk about that once I do the bench for the Padres. How about that? Bench, Broderick Perkins, Tim Flannery, Joe Lefevre, and Gene Richards, all from the left side, as well as 1 computer card from the left side, Randy Bass. And then from the right side, we have both computer cards. From the right side, backup catcher Doug Goosh and backup infielder Mario Ramirez. So basically, the way I do it, I mean, there's multiple ways to do it, but the easiest, I'm not tech savvy, so the easiest way I know to do it, I use the snipping tool in Windows 10, and I do a snip, and I capture the card image from the PC game, and I copy that into Word, and then I do that 3 times, because I can fit 3 player cards on 1 page of a WordPerfect screen. Then I print the WordPerfect screen and print them out, and you can do it on cardstock or on regular paper, and I just chose to do it here. Now, if I was doing a 1 single team replay, then the guys I'd be using over and over, I would do on cardstock. Okay, but that's just a little administrative stuff. Get that out of the way. Game of the week time, Dodgers and the Padres. Fernando Valenzuela, in his 1982 season, was 19-13 with a 2.87 ERA. So he's going to start us off. And leading off for the Padres will be Luis Salazar. Back in 82, the sets did not have the pitcher hitting cards. So both, let's see, Fernando Valenzuela is going to be using pitcher hitting card number 2. And Juan Eichelberger will be using pitcher hitting card number 1. All right, don't have don't have brown and yellow dice for the Padres. I do have black and yellow, closest thing I could get. So there's your Padre dice, and the blue is your Los Angeles Dodger dice. Okay, Dodgers won this game in real life 6-0. So sit back on this Saturday afternoon. I'm posting all these games. I want to make sure they post at 2 o'clock Eastern time every Saturday, except for the games that I do to catch up. I'll post them during the week, but when I get on that regular Saturday schedule, it will be 2 o'clock Eastern every Saturday. So it kind of brings back memories of watching the games on Saturday afternoon when there was no MLB, there was no ESPN. All you had was NBC, basically. All right, so we are ready to go. I think everything in the camera looks like it fits. So we shall get going. Luis Salazar stepping in against Fernando. And this game is underway. 5-5 against the right-hander. Struck him out, so Fernando comes out firing. Strikes out Salazar to start the ball game. And these cards, even though I've had them a long time, they're still fairly new because I haven't used them much. So I'm going to have to put these individually, I think, because they're so new, they're kind of like they're sticking together. All right, here's Juan Bonilla, second baseman. Fernando, 6'8". And that's a split chance. 1 to 14 is a single. That's a 20, though. So that's going to be a ground ball to Ron Say at third base. He will take care of it. 2 down. And that's going to bring up the shortstop, Gary Templeton. Switch hitter, turning around to bat from the right side. Padres have only 2 lefties in the lineup. They have Rupert Jones and Terry Kennedy. Everybody else is either a switch or righty. Fernando, 3-6 for Templeton against the lefty. Ground ball to short. Bill Russell's right on time. Innings over. 1-2-3 for Fernando. As he has an exceptional first inning. We go to the bottom of the first. It's the Padres nothing. The Dodgers coming to bat. And for the Padres on the mound is Juan Eichelberger. He was 7-14 with a 4.20 ERA in the 1982 season. And leading off for the Dodgers, it'll be Steve Sax, second baseman. He will get things going, followed by Landreau and Baker here in the bottom of the first. Eichelberger. 1-9 for Sax against the righty. That's a ground ball right back to Eichelberger. Easy play, 1 down, and that'll bring up center fielder Kenny Landreau. Landreau, lefty swinger. Eichelberger, 4-9 against the lefty, is a ground ball to short. Templeton is there. 2 down. And that'll bring up Dusty Baker, left fielder. 4-7, and that's going to be a strikeout. So Eichelberger matching Valenzuela. Pitch for pitch here in the first inning. We go to the second, no score from Dodger Stadium. And I'd first planned to do this where I was just going to pick a Saturday afternoon game and flip-flop between American and National League so we get everybody in there. But then I thought about it. I really want to, as much as possible, do the actual game that was played on the NBC Game of the Week. Like I said, I don't have access to every single game to know what it was. but the ones I do know, I'm going to use them. And the ones I don't, I'll just fill the gap with whatever I think is the most logical at that point. In other words, if the Yankees played the week before and I don't know who played the following Saturday, I'm not going to pick a Yankee game. I'll pick somebody else. That's just an example. All right, here's Rupert Jones, one of the few lefties against Fernando. 1-10, and he grounds it to second. Steve Sachs is there, 1 away. I'll bring up right fielder Sixto Lezcano. Really need Ron Juckett here to do the Ben Scully thing, but oh well. Can't help that. 2-9 for Sixto against Fernando. 2-9 is going to be a walk, and that's the first base runner of the ball game. Sixto Lezcano is no threat to steal whatsoever. We will roll to see if there's a pickoff of any kind, or wild pitch, or balk, or whatever, and nothing's happening. So that'll bring up Kurt Bavacqua, and the runner at first, Sixto, he will be held. If you think about it, I mean, to be realistic, very few runners were never held. I mean, usually it's a pitcher or a slow-running catcher. Everybody else is pretty much going to be held. So on the Padres, the Dodgers are holding everybody except for Kennedy and Eichelberger. And for the Dodgers, I think they're going to hold everybody except Scioscia and Valenzuela. So just to be realistic, I mean, let's drop my dice there. I sometimes try to play the system in Strat-O-Matic where if you don't hold them, it helps you out a little bit. But I think to be realistic, you hold the base runners. That's what they did. So that's the way I'm going to play it. Even if he's an E-stealer, I'm still going to hold him. So Fernando, 5-4. That's a catcher X. So catcher in this case is Mike Scioscia. He's a 2E5. 2 and a 19 is definitely a good to go. 2 and a 19 is going to be a G2 fielder's choice. That's a 7, and he's an E5. That shouldn't be a problem. Nope, it is a fielder's choice. So they're going to go 2 to 4 down to second base to get where Sachs puts it away. Bavacqua reaches on the fielder's choice. There are now 2 outs. Bavacqua still will be held. And let's roll for potential wild pitch or balk or whatever. Nothing happening. Here's Terry Kennedy. 2-10 for Kennedy. That is a ballpark single check. I did forget. That's one thing through all the preamble. I forgot to mention the ballpark effects. It's a good day here at Dodger Stadium. So singles are 1 to 5 for lefties and 1 to 10 for righties. Home runs are 1 to 3 for both. So Kennedy's case, 1 to 5 is a single, but that's a 7. So instead, that's going to be a line out to second base, and that's going to end the inning. So Kennedy lines to Sachs, and we go to the bottom of the second. Still no score from Dodger Stadium. And Steve Garvey will lead things off for LA, followed by Ron Cey and Pedro Guerrero. 4-10. That is another ballpark single check. And again, 1 to 10 for righties. That's a 13, though. So he will line it to Templeton for out number 1. And that brings up Ron Cey, the Penguin. 1-9, and that's a potential home run. 1 to 14, it's gone. That's a 7, it is gone. Ron Cey just blasted one into the cheap seats, and the Dodgers lead it 1-0 on the 82 season. Ron Cey did have 24 home runs, and there was one of them right there. Dodgers lead it 1-0. And here's Pedro Guerrero, speaking of home runs. In the 82 season, Guerrero had 32 of them. 5-8. That's a ground ball, second base X. Second baseman is Juan Bonilla. He's a 3 E22. 3 and a 13 should be okay. 3 and a 13 is a G2, and that is a 9. He's an E22 as a 9, and there is no 9, so it's good play for Bonilla. 2 down, and that brings up the catcher, Mike Scioscia. 3-7 for Scioscia, and he flies to center field. Rupert Jones puts it away, inning over, but the blast from the Penguin, Ron Cey, gives the Dodgers a 1-0 lead as we go to the third. Fernando, his fatigue is a number 8, and Eichelberger number 7, so that's something I gotta get used to. Been playing some of the, obviously playing the more modern seasons, you use a lot of pitchers, but back here in the 70s / early 80s, the pitchers went a long way, so may not be looking so fast to go to the bullpen. Here's Dave Edwards. He was a marginal player for the Padres, only had 55 at bats, hit 182, but he was there in left field instead of one of the left-handers because Fernando was on the mound. 6-6 against Fernando, struck him out. So Edwards out of there on strikes. And that brings up Eichelberger, and he is using pitcher hitting card number 1. That's a 2-9, and that's a ground ball to first. And Mr. Garvey will put it away. 2 down for the top of the order, Luis Salazar. 5-8. Ground ball to third. Ron Cey is there. And it's another easy 1-2-3 inning for Fernando. He is looking sharp here on the game of the week. As they lead at 1-0 going to the bottom of the third. It'll be Bill Russell followed by Fernando and then Sachs. So Russell would like to get on. 2-3, but he won't. He grounds it right back to Eichelberger. And that's 1 away. Brings up Fernando. He is using pitcher hitting card number 2. 5-7 against the lefty for Eichelberger. 1-9 is a single. That is a 9. So Fernando gets a base hit off the Eichelberger card. How about that? Now, they will not hold Fernando. That's one of the contingents. We will not be holding Fernando. Check for a balk or a wild pitch possibility or a pass ball possibility. Nothing happening. Here's Sachs. 6-11. That's a ground ball, shortstop B, fielder's choice. 6-4, Templeton goes to Bonilla the short way. Sachs will now take over his run at first, and he's going to be looking to get a jump. Sachs in 82 stole 49 bases, got caught 19 times. But to get a jump, 2 through 6 or a 12. And he gets the jump. So let's see. He starts as a 17. Eichelberger's a +2. Kennedy's a -2, so that's a 0. So we start with a 17, take away 2 for being held. It's a 1-15, and he will steal it. And he does. So Steve Sachs, a 2-out stolen base, gets him into scoring position for Ken Landreau. And the Padres will have to hold Sachs on second, try to keep him close to cut down the chance of scoring on a base hit. But that could open up a hole in the middle of the infield. So Landreau, the batter. That is a 3-4. 3-4. 1 is a home run. 19-20 is a double. So that will be a RBI double for Ken Landreau. Sachs will easily trot home from second base on that double. Dodgers lead it 2-0. Landreau will not try to steal third, but they will hold him on. And we'll roll for potential pass, ball, or balk. Nothing happening. Here's Dusty Baker. 5-10. 5-10 is a ground ball, shortstop X, Templeton. He is a 2 E32. 2 and a 15 is good. E32 and a 12. E32, 13 is an error, but 12 is not. So a good play by Templeton to end the inning. But another run is scored on the RBI double from Ken Landreau. And after 3 complete, it's the Dodgers 2 and the Padres nothing. So Fernando has been given a 2-run lead to protect. And he'll start out facing Juan Bonilla, second baseman. Bonilla grounded to Cey his first trip. That's a 2-7. 2-7's a fly to left. Dusty Baker puts that away, 1 away. For the shortstop, Gary Templeton. 2-6 against the lefty. He flies to center. And Landreau is there, 2 down. for Rupert Jones. 3-8 against the lefty. He draws a 2-out walk. Second walk issued by Fernando. Jones will be held. Will he try to get a... He's going to try to get a jump. Why not? Well, he does have a -2 there, so it'll be a minus... If he gets a jump, it'd only be an 11 to steal. You know what? They're going to try to get the jump anyway. Try to make something happen. 4, he gets the jump. So it'll be an 11 because, and the way I calculate that, it's the 15 here. -1 from Fernando makes it a 14. -1 from Socha makes it a 13. -2 for being held makes him an 11. So 1 to 11, 55% chance. 1 to 11, he's going to steal it. And he does not. He gets caught stealing. So that's going to end the inning as Sachs put on the tag and the inning is over. Trying to get in scoring position, make something happen, because against Fernando, you kind of have to manufacture some runs. Can't wait for a bunch of hits. Just didn't pay off. I mean, if he'd stolen it, he'd been in scoring position, and a base hit would have brought him home, but a lot of ifs. So we go to Steve Garvey. It's one of those plays we try it. You look like a genius when it works, and you look kind of silly when it doesn't. Here's Steve Garvey. 3-11 for Garvey. Lines out to short again. First time he lined out was on the ballpark effects. This one's a straight up line out to short. And Templeton is right there, 1 away. Brings up Ron Say. He homered his first trip for the first run of the game. 3-5, and this time he will strike out. 2 down as Eichelberger puts him away. For Pedro Guerrero. And Guerrero grounded to second his first appearance. 3-4, that's a fly out to center field. Rupert Jones puts it away, innings over. We go to the 5th, it's still 2-0 Dodgers. As Fernando seems to be in charge, at least so far. And he'll be dealing with Sixto Lascano, Kurt Bavacqua, and Terry Kennedy to start the 5th. Make sure, get these cards up high enough. Make sure I do that. Okay, Sixto. 6-7 against a right-hander. That's a strikeout. Fernando puts him away. 1 down. Brings up Kurt Bavacqua. 5-12. Ground ball first base X. That's Steve Garvey. He's a 1E9. Since it's a 1 and nobody's on base, we don't even need the D20. We're just checking for an error at this point. And on an E9, the only way you can make an error as an E9 is you have to have a 7, 14, 17, or 18. And that is an 18, so that will be a 2-base error on Garvey. How about that? He was flipping to Valenzuela covering and threw it behind him, so it'll be a 2-base error, E3. And Dodgers did make an error in the real game. Padres made 2, but this one going to cost the Dodgers 2 bases. Puts a runner at second base with 1 out. Bavacqua will not be held at second base. We're only going to hold the guys at first base. We're not going to hold the slow runners at second base. Well, we'll check for the balk or whatever. Nothing's happening. Here's Terry Kennedy, lefty on lefty. 2-5, and that is a strikeout. So Fernando puts him away, 2 down. Now you got Dave Edwards, normally a number 8 hitter coming up, pitcher up on deck. You sometimes think about walking the number 8 hitter, but Edwards is such a weak hitter. There's no way the Dodgers are doing that. They're going to pitch to him. Nothing there. Valenzuela, 5-6, and ground ball to short. Bill Russell right there. So the 2-base error by Garvey does not hurt the Dodgers. We go to the bottom of the 5th, still 2-0. But the only thing missing now is an Aqua Velva commercial, but I digress. Here's Mike Socha to lead things off against Eichelberger. He can go 7 before he gets tired. 1-5, and that's a fly to right field. Sixto Lascano is there. 1 down for Bill Russell, the shortstop. Fernando on deck. 4-11. 4-11 is a fly ball left field X. That's Edwards. He's a 3E25. Boy, that's terrible. 3E25. That's a 1. 3 and a 1 is going to drop for a hit, and it might be an error on top of it to add insult to injury. A 3 and a 1 is a double. That's a 6. He's an E25. And a 6 is a one-base error to boot. So it's a double plus an error, which will allow Bill Russell to get to third base. So the double plus the E7, and now both teams have committed an error. Puts Bill Russell at third base with only one out, and the infield will have to come in with Fernando Valenzuela at the plate. Fernando is an excellent bunter. Do you try a suicide squeeze is the thing. That would be a really interesting play if you want to try the suicide squeeze. That's something I have not done. I don't think in any game I've ever played. I don't think I've ever tried a suicide squeeze. I'm looking at the super advanced chart now to see about how you even do a suicide squeeze. Oh, here's a squeeze chart. Okay. With the infield in, next letter. Okay. Total the other two dice and refer to the chart. I don't know if I want to. I don't think I want to, because I think the Padres are looking for it. So we're not gonna do that. We'll roll to make sure there's no balk or anything. Oh, it's a 1. So chance of a wild pitch. He's an 8. 20. Nothing's happened. So Fernando against Eichelberger with the infield in. 6-6 to a lefty is a ground ball to second base A. So with the infield in, we'll go to the super advanced chart. Runner at third. Ground ball A is a 1, which means batter out, runner holds. So Russell had to stay put on that ground out as Bonilla checked him. Make sure he didn't go anywhere and still had plenty of time to throw out the slow running Fernando. So 2 down for Steve Sachs. Roll again for potential wild pitch or a balk. Nothing happening. 5-6, and that's a walk. So a 2-out walk issued to Sachs. Don't know if you want to try to steal, though. You already got a guy in third base, so I think you're going to let Landreau hit with that hole opened on the right-hand side of the infield. Sachs, of course, is being held. Nothing on the 20. Here's Landreau. 2-9 for Landreau, and he grounds it to first to end the inning. So nothing doing there. The error does not come back to hurt San Diego as Eichelberger pitches around it. We go to the 6th. It's still 2-0. And Eichelberger will lead it off, but we're not going to pinch hit for Eichelberger just yet. It's kind of early. And want to keep him in the game as long as possible because he's pitching fairly well. Fernando, 2-6, and that's a strikeout. 1 away, and that brings up Luis Salazar. Salazar, the batter. 5-7, and that's a ground ball second base X. Steve Sachs, he's a 2E21. 2 and a 7 should be no issue. 2 and a 7 is a G3. I'm sorry, G2. That's no problem. He's a 7, and his error rating is a 21. E21 and a 7. There is no 7. There's a 4, 13, and a 17, but no 7. So it's a good play for Steve Sachs. And here's Bonilla, second baseman. He's 0 for 2. 6-3 against Fernando. Ground ball pitcher X. Fernando is a 1 with an E10, so we know he's going to get to it. We're just checking for an error. And on a pitcher, to make an error on an E10, the D6s need to total 11, 15, 18. 3, 11, 15, or 18. And that's 6, so it's good play all day long by Fernando. And the inning's over. So we go to the bottom of the 6th. Still 2-0 Padres. I'm sorry, 2-0 Dodgers. Eichelberger back out. We'll be facing Dusty Baker. So Fernando pitching well in front of a national audience on the NBC Game of the Week. 6-9 for Baker. Eichelberger, 6-9. That's a home run chance. 1-17, it's gone. That's a 2. He, of course, has normal power as Dusty Baker hit 23 home runs on the year, and he just hit another one right here. Dusty Baker homers to give the Dodgers a 3-0 lead. Eichelberger grooved it. That 6-9 is not a good spot for him. He grooved it, and Dusty Baker made him pay. Here's Garvey. He's lined to short twice. 1-7. All these hits in column 1, and he found a fly to center. Rupert Jones is there, 1 away. For the Penguin, Ron say he's homered and struck out in his 2 chances against Eichelberger. 4-6, that's a ground ball to short. Templeton is there, 2 down. And here's Pedro Guerrero. 3-7 for Guerrero is a 2-out walk. 2-out walk for Guerrero. He will be held. I don't know if he's going to try to get a jump or not. He did steal 22 bases, so they might try to get him in scoring position. He needs a 5 or a 6 to get a jump. He cannot. No, can't get the jump, and they're not going to try to send him without a jump. So here is Scioscia. 4-3, and that's a ballpark home run chance. Ballpark home runs are only 1 to 3 for both lefties and righties. That's a 6. So that's a failed home run chance. So that will turn into a fly to right field to end the inning. But the Dodgers pick up another run on the Dusty Baker homer. They've homered twice off of Eichelberger. And we go to the 7th, it's 3-0 Dodgers. Like I said, Dodgers won this game in real life 6-0. So it's kind of sort of on track for that. Here is Gary Templeton to lead it off. He's 0 for 2. 1-8 against the left-hander, and that's a ground ball to short. Put away by Russell. And Fernando just having a day in the park, a Saturday in the park, the way Chicago used to sing it. 4-8 against a lefty. Now that's trouble for Fernando. 1-7 is a triple. That's a 16, which converts to a double. So Rupert Jones with a double. And as I look at the score sheet, that is the first hit by the Padres in the game. The no-hitter is gone here in the top of the 7th with 1 out. Fernando had the no-hitter going. He gave up 2 walks and a guy reached on an error. But this is the first base hit of the game. And it comes from Rupert Jones here in the top of the 7th with 1 out. No-hitter is gone. Now Fernando can concentrate on just winning the game. Strategy roll. Nothing happening. Here's Sixto Lescano. 4-5, and that's a strikeout. So comes back and strikes out Sixto for out number 2. Rupert Jones is not being held on second base. They're going to try to keep their range as good as possible and not worry about him. Here's Bavacqua. Nothing on the strategy roll. 3-7 for Bavacqua, and he grounds it to short. They're not playing in or anything, so that's going to be a regular ground out to short. It won't get through. And the inning is over. So Fernando loses the no-hitter, keeps the shutout intact. Go to the 7th inning stretch. It's 3-0 Dodgers. Eichelberger, this is his fatigue inning right here. He is set to bat third next inning, so they would like to get him through the inning if possible, but we shall see. It'll be Russell, Valenzuela, and Sachs against Eichelberger. 1-7, that's a ground ball to short. Templeton is there, 1 away. Here's Fernando. Fernando is 1 for 2 with a single. 2-9, no, he strikes out on that one. So 2 down for Steve Sachs, who's had a good day. Walk, reached on fielder's choice, stole a base, and scored a run. 1 for 2, or 0 for 2, I should say, but with a walk and a run scored and a stolen base. 3-10 for Sachs. Ground ball to third. Salazar over to Bavacqua, and the inning is over. So we go to the 8th. Still 3-0 favor the Dodgers. And this is the fatigue inning for Fernando. And that's going to be it for Eichelberger. He's going to go 7 innings, give up 3 runs. And he will be pinch hit for as he is scheduled to bat third this inning. So we look at the bench for the Padres. Most of their better hitters are left-handed. So it's going to have to stick with them, I guess, and just see what we get. They're going to go with Broderick Perkins. I used to call him Broderick Perkins, but Broderick Perkins will be the pinch hitter for the Padres. So he will be coming on, Broderick Perkins. He will pinch hit when his time comes up, but right now it is Terry Kennedy who gets that first opportunity against Fernando. 6-7 against a lefty. That's a walk. That's first notch against Fernando for his fatigue. So he walks Kennedy. Kennedy will not be held. Oops, wrong team. Make sure I got the right team in order here. Dave Edwards is up. Do you pinch hit for Edwards is the question. Oh, he's got a pretty good column 3 against lefties, so we're going to leave him in there against Fernando. We'll roll for the strategy. Nothing happening. 1-6, but he found column 1 instead of column 3. 3-6 might have been a double, but 1-6 is a strikeout. So there's one away, and now that brings up the pinch hitter, Broderick Perkins. He hit 271 on the season, 2 homers, 34 RBI with 347 at-bats. A little bit better against righties, obviously, but his column 1's not too bad. Whoops, let me redo the strategy roll. I put an extra die in there by mistake. Nothing happened on the strategy roll. Here's Fernando to Broderick Perkins. 4-5 against the lefty. That's a fly to right field. Put away out there by Guerrero. 2 down as Perkins fails in the pinch. Back to the top of the order and Luis Salazar. And, of course, the Padre bullpen is loosening. And with a, let's see, we got 1 lefty and a bunch of righties. So I think they're going to go to a right-hander out of the pen. Will the Padres in the bottom half of the inning. And I think it's going to be Floyd Schiffer. Floyd Schiffer will be the new pitcher for the Padres in the bottom half of the 8th inning. So right now, here's Salazar. Again, strategy roll to make sure there's no wild pitch or anything. Not really strategy roll, havoc roll if you want to call it that. 3-4 for Salazar. He grounds it to second, and Sachs will just flip to Russell covering, and that will end the inning. So Fernando, 8 shutout innings, and he's still good. He only had 1 knock against his point of weakness, so he may be able to finish what he started. Very possible. And Floyd Schiffer, and on the 82 season, Floyd Schiffer was 4-3 with a 2.95 ERA and 4 saves. So Floyd Schiffer will be on to face Landreau, Baker, and Garvey. In the bottom of the 8th, Dodgers still hold a 3-0 lead. So this game's a little bit closer than the actual game was. Get a 5-3. That's a fly ball right field X. That's Sixto Lezcano. Lezcano's a 2-E4. Very good fielder. 2-17 is no issue whatsoever. And an E4. The only way you make an error on an E4 is if you have a 3, 4, 15, or 18. That is a 12, so no problem there whatsoever. Lezcano puts it away, 1 down. Takes us to Dusty Baker. We get a 1-11 for Dusty against the righty. That's a line out to first. Bavacqua snares it, 2 down for Steve Garvey. 3-6 for Garvey, pops him up, and Bonilla puts it away to end the inning. So Schiffer goes a 1-2-3 8th. We go to the 9th. It's still 3-0 Dodgers. And Fernando looking to come out and complete what he started. Dodgers do have the bullpen loosening just in case. And they have left-hander Steve Howe. He had 13 saves on the season. So he is loosening in the bullpen just in case. Just in case they need him. Also right-hander Alejandro Pena. Double barrel action in the Dodger bullpen just in case. Fernando looking to finish it off though. He only had a walk against him in his fatigue inning, so he's still pretty good. Bonilla will lead it off. It would be the heart of the order for the Padres. Bonilla, Templeton, and Jones. And anybody gets on Lezcano. Against Fernando, 6-8 against a righty. 1-14 is a single. That's a 7, so it's a leadoff single. Leadoff single for Juan Bonilla. And in a 3-0 game, actually, they will not hold Bonilla now because of the score. Thinking that Bonilla is not going to try to run down 3-0, which he is not. So here's Gary Templeton. Nothing on there. Fernando to Templeton, 4-6. Switch hitter batting right-handed. 4-6 is a walk. And now Fernando is dangerously close to being fatigued. One more base runner, and he will hit his fatigue mark. The tying run is now at the plate in Rupert Jones. And now, do you bring in Steve Howe, or do you let Fernando finish what he started? I think you're going to bring in Steve Howe at this point. So Steve Howe will be coming on. Fernando's going to go 8+. give up no runs, but the runners on base are his responsibility. But Tommy Lasorda has turned it over to Steve Howe to try to close this game out in 82. Steve Howe was 7-5, 2.08 ERA and 13 saves. So he is their closer. He is going to try to seal the deal, so to speak. Steve Howe. And he starts out lefty on lefty against Rupert Jones, but Rupert Jones does have power, just not against lefties. He's got power against righties, but not against lefties. Only chance to home run on a lefty is down here in 212. Other than that, no danger. So Howe, well, first of all, we'll roll for potential balk or pickoff. Nothing happening. 3-5 for Rupert, and he's going to walk. That's going to load the bases. So Steve Howe has walked Rupert Jones. The bases are now loaded with nobody out, and Sixto Lezcano, the batter. And Lezcano very well against lefties, so the Dodgers have to be careful here. Tommy Lasorda kind of pacing the dugout, wondering what's going on here. Nothing on the roll there for the havoc. Here's Howe to Lezcano. Infield is back. They'll play for the double play and give up a run. 1-9 against the lefty. And that's another walk. Sixto Lezcano draws a bases-loaded walk. 3 consecutive walks in the inning. And the Padres have cut the lead to 3-1. Bases are still loaded with nobody out. That'll bring up Kurt Bavacqua, who does really well against, well, in column 1, he does well on both sides of the house, but particularly against lefties. Nothing on that. And Alejandro Pena continues to loosen in the Dodger bullpen, just in case. 1-7. 1-17 is a single. That's a 2. So that's a single 1 star. That'll make it 3-2 as the Padres close the gap again. And Steve Howe can't get anybody out. He's going to be facing Terry Kennedy. This is his last batter. If you can't get Kennedy, he's out of here. He might be out of here anyway, even after the Kennedy at bat. We shall see. But the bases are loaded. Now the infield for the Dodgers. Oh, that's a 2. Possible balk or pass ball. That's a 1, but he has no balk rating, so no balk there. Now for the Dodgers, they're going to have to bring the infield in. They're going to cut that tying runoff at the plate. 1-5 for Kennedy. That's not going to happen. That's a double to left field by Terry Kennedy. How about that? The Padres have come all the way back to take the lead now 4-3. Because I don't think Bavacqua, with his run rating, he's not going to go anywhere. But that's going to be it for Steve Howe. He couldn't get anybody out. He faced 4 batters and walked 2 and gave up 2 hits. So that's it for him. He's going to have to come out, and the win is taken away from Fernando, and now perhaps Tommy Lasorda is second-guessing his move to remove Fernando. But it seemed like a good idea at the time, as they say. And we get a pinch hitter for Edwards because he's not a very good fielder or hitter, and now they have the lead. They want a better defensive player in there. So Gene Richards, who normally plays left field, but was sitting because of the lefty, he's in to pinch hit. And Richards, for his rating, let's get his card. Oh, he's a 4. He's not very good either, is he? Well, they just don't have a whole lot on the outfield, so they'll have to live with it. But his E rating is only E9. He just has bad range. But they're going to live with it. So Gene Richards is on to face Pena. Alejandro Pena trying to stop the bleeding. There's still nobody out. Runners are at second and third. Infield, of course, has to come in. And the Dodger Stadium faithful, the ones that left early to beat the traffic, are missing what is happening. Pena, 2-7 to Richards. It's ground ball shortstop B. So let's look at the infield in chart. This could be a play at the plate. Infield in chart, second and third. Ground ball B is a 7. 7 says batter safe, lead runner is out. So they throw him out on that play as Bill Russell throws to Socha, who blocks the plate and tags out Bavacqua. It goes 6-2. Kennedy will go to third. Richards reaches on the fielder's choice. And now we got a pinch hitter coming up for Schiffer. So the Padres will go to the bench again for the pinch hitter for Floyd Schiffer. And they could go to either Flannery or Lefebvre. Looks like Flannery's the better hitter. So we'll go to Tim Flannery. And of course, Richards will stay in the game to play left field. So Tim Flannery is on. And the situation has not changed. for the Dodgers, or did it? Let's see. Do they want to try? They could set up a double play if they think they can pull it, but I think their best move is to play the infield in, try to choke that run off. Nothing happening there. Here's Pena to Flannery. 4-4. That's a catcher X. Sosha is a 2E5. 2 and a 1. Oh, that's trouble. They did not need that 1 to pop up there. That was something the Dodgers did not need. A 2 and a 1 is a W/S. And a W/S says here, with runners on base, the pitcher uncorks a wild pitch. The catcher spins around, but he has trouble fielding the ball. All base runners advance 2 bases on the play. Oh, that's a rare play. I'm sorry. With runners on base, the pitcher uncorks a wild pitch. All runners advance 1 base and play resumes. Okay, so it doesn't matter about anything else. You got that W/S. It's going to be a wild pitch. That's a 12, and he's an E5. I don't think that's an error anyway. It's not. But it's a going to be a wild pitch. So wild pitch will score the run as Kennedy trots in on that wild pitch, and Richards will take second base. So big wild pitch there by Alejandro Pena. And now the Padres enjoy a 5-3 lead. 5 unanswered runs here in the top of the 9th. Flannery still at bat on a pinch hitting chance. Infield back to normal with no force play or no play at the plate. Pena 4-4. Another catcher X. We were just there. We're going to come back again. That's an 8 this time, so there shouldn't be any wild pitches to worry about. He's a 2 and an 8. That is a P/F. So we could have a pass ball to worry about, though. P/F. So we're going to be using the wild pitch rating of the pitcher to see if there is a pass ball or not. Pena's a 5. That's 12. So Sosha was able to block it and keeps everybody right where they are. And Flannery will try again for the 3rd time. 3-10. Ground ball to first base B, but with the ball hit to the right side, Richards will take 3rd by default. So it's going to be a 3 unassisted for out number 2. Runner now at 3rd base in a 5-3 game. And now for the Padres in their bullpen, they have their closer up. And that being, well, they have 2 closers, really. Luis De Leon had 15 saves. Gary Lucas had 16 saves. So I think with the lineup being all righties, they're going to bring in Luis De Leon to try to close the deal. Right now, Salazar, who's 0 for 4, is at the plate. Runner at 3rd and 2 down. So Pena has to watch those wild pitches now. 3-12, and that's a ground ball to short, but the infield's not in, so it's an easy play. Padres send 9 to the plate. 5 of them score. And we go to the bottom of the 9th here at Dodger Stadium. A shocked crowd for the ones that are still here, as the Padres grab a 5-3 lead and take this into the bottom of the 9th, and it'll be Luis De Leon and his 15 saves who will be coming on to pitch against Say, Guerrero, and Sosha. So look at the numbers on De Leon's card. De Leon was 9-5 with a 2.03 ERA and 15 saves. A really good season for De Leon. And like I said, he'll be facing Say, Guerrero, and Sosha. Probably pinch hit for Russell if it gets that far. And the Dodgers do have some pinch hitters on the bench. They got Jay Johnstone. They got George Orta, Rick Monday. Got some good lefties on the bench, so I'm sure Lasorda will be going to them. Here, first off, here's Ron Say. That's a 4-7, and that's a 1 for a single. Anything else he grounds to 3rd, that's a 14. So grounder to Salazar for 1 away. Brings up Pedro Guerrero. De Leon to Guerrero, 6-9. Ground ball shortstop X, that is Templeton. Templeton is a 2E32. 2 and a 19 is good all day long. E32 and a 13. And that is an error. I think we had that before. E32 and a 13 is an error. So a booted ball by Templeton. 2nd error for the Padres. And they had 2 in the real game, that's for sure. So Not exactly what the Padres needed there. Down by 2, I don't think they're going to... Well, no, you know what? They're going to have to hold Guerrero because he could steal and get in the scoring position and take the double play out of the equation. So I think they're going to have to hold him. Although De Leon is a -4 on his hold rating. And Kennedy's a -2. That'd be a -5. So even if Guerrero got the jump, it'd only be a 1-11. And I don't think you're going to steal down by 2 runs. So here's Scioscia. 4-11. And that's a ballpark single check. For a lefty, it's only 1-5. But that's a 1. So it's a single for Scioscia. And back come the Dodgers. Runners are now at second and third. With only 1 out. And Bill Russell will be called back. And Rick Monday will pick up a bat. Even though it's a Saturday, it's Rick Monday. And then George Orta has picked up a bat right behind him. I'm sorry, not George Orta. Jay Johnstone has picked up a bat right behind him. Jay Johnstone would hit for Pena. Assuming it gets to Pena. So right now, it is Rick Monday. And they'll figure out shortstop in the top of the 10th if it gets there. Right now, Rick Monday just wants to get him there. Of course, if he hits a home run, the game's over. They won't walk it off, so we'll see. Strategy, nobody's being held. So, De Leon to Monday. 3-7. Oh, 3-6 would have been a walk-off home run. Do you believe that? 3-6 would have been a walk-off home run. As it is, 3-7 is going to be a single 2 stars. So, a pinch hit single for Rick Monday will score Guerrero. Cuts the lead to 5-4, moves Scioscia to third base, where the tying run is now at third base. And now the Padres are having issues. Here's Jay Johnstone. De Leon having issues. Jay Johnstone on to pinch hit. Gary Lucas still warming in the Padre bullpen. Now for the Padres... Do they play for the double play, or they're going to play? They're going to play in. They're going to play in. They can't afford to give up the tying run. They really don't want this thing going extra innings. Nothing on the Havoc. De Leon to Johnstone. He could really use a strikeout right about now. 2-6, and that's a ground ball first base A with a plus sign. That means if the infield in, that's a base hit. So by playing the infield in, it cost them. And Scioscia will score the tying run. Rick Monday, I believe, will go to third on this automatically. Let me double check the plus to make sure on my rules. I'm pretty sure that on a plus, they get the extra base, but I want to be certain. So let's see here. Yep, it's let's see here. Hold on. Yep, single 2 stars with the infield in. So it certainly is. So Monday will take third. And now runners are on the corners with only 1 out. And Steve Sachs, the batter. Since he's a righty, they're going to leave De Leon in to pitch to Sachs. But if it gets to Landro, they do have Gary Lucas ready to go. So right now, De Leon trying to escape and send this thing to extra innings. Sachs trying to put it away. Infield is in. 6-7. Struck him out. What a huge strikeout for De Leon. 2 down. And now Landro is the batter, and that's going to be it for De Leon. He's going to be coming out. And Gary Lucas will be coming on to try to keep it right where it is. So left-hander Gary Lucas, De Leon, just like Steve Howe, unable to convert the save. So Gary Lucas is on. He was 1-10 with a 3.24 ERA, but he did have 16 saves. And he's in there to try to get the left-hander Ken Landro and send this game to extra innings. Infield is back to normal now with 2 outs. So they will play the infield back to normal. Nothing on the Havoc. Here is Lucas to Landro. 1-6 and liner to second base. That's going to send us to extra innings. So how about that? Free baseball here on the first Saturday game of the week. Free baseball, and the Dodgers have a second life as they rally to put up 2 in the bottom of the 9th to send the game to extra innings. And now they got to go to their bullpen. And let's see who they want to go to. They're going to go to Dave Stewart. Dave Stewart is in. He's a long man, so they need some length. So Dave Stewart is on to pitch for the Dodgers. here in the 10th. And he'll be facing Bonilla, Templeton, and Jones, heart of the order for San Diego. 5-5, top of the 10th here at Dodger Stadium. Stewart, 6-5, and that's a ground ball to third. One away, and then he'll send us to Templeton. Was not expecting extra innings, that's for sure. Stewart to Templeton, 5-12 with ground ball second base X. That's Steve Sachs. He's a 2, E21. 2 and a 5 is a good play. It's a G3. That's all he needs. But the 15 could be a little questionable. 15 on an E21. Nope, 13's an error and 17's an error, but not a 15. So good play for Sachs. 2 down. That brings up Rupert Jones. 4-6, and that's a fly to right field to end the top of the 10th. So we go to the bottom of the 10th, chance for the Dodgers to walk it off. Gary Lucas is back out for San Diego. He'll be facing Baker, Garvey, and Say, a whole bunch of right-handers. But the Padres have already used pretty much their best right-handers in Schiffer and De Leon, so really don't have any right-handers remaining except Eric Howe. And he's more of a long man and not really one of their better pitchers at the moment. So right now they're going to stick with Gary Lucas against Dusty Baker. 6-7. Ground ball second base X. That is Bonilla. And Bonilla is a 3, E22. 3 and a 1. That's going to get through for a base hit. That's a single. That's a 7 and an E22. No error there, but it will be a leadoff single for Dusty Baker, rather. And I do need to, I forgot to, well, if it goes to the 11th, no, I do need to do it because the Padres are on defense. I forgot to put in Gene Richards fielding, as he is the new left fielder. He is a 4, 0, and an E9. Forgot to do that, so in case that comes up. Dusty Baker is on, but again, Lucas is a -3, and Kennedy's a -2, so that'd be a -5. So 1 to 8 would be the best he could do if he got the jump, so they're not going to do that. Garvey is a decent bunter, not the best in the world. He is a B bunter. Going to play the corners in, make him a C bunter, but he's going to try to lay one down as a C bunter. So we'll see what happens. That's a 7. So we go to the bunt chart, sacrifice bunt chart, a 7, and he is a C bunter. That's a good sacrifice. 7 and a C is a good sacrifice. With a 1 on the white die, it goes to the pitcher. So Lucas will field the bunt, and he'll throw to Bonilla covering first base. It goes 1 to 4 with Baker now at second base. So Baker is the winning run at second base with 1 out, and here's Ron Say. Nothing on that. Lucas to Say. We get a 6-6 against the right-hander. 6-6 is a strikeout. He is not tired, so the strikeout stands. 2 away, and they will intentionally walk Pedro Guerrero with first base open. Not even going to mess with him, and they'll go after Mike Scioscia, the catcher, lefty on lefty, to try to get out of the inning. Nothing happening there. Lucas to Scioscia, and the runner Baker is being held at second base. 4-7, and that's a walk. That's going to load the bases. So Lucas walks Scioscia, and that loads the bases now for the new shortstop. I forgot to mention who the new shortstop was when I was doing all these pinch hitters. I forgot that we had pinch hit for Russell. So we do need a new shortstop. And you can't pitch hit for him because he's the only one left to play short, and that's Daryl Thomas. So Daryl Thomas is your batter. He came in to play short. So Thomas is on to play short. Kind of messy here. He's a 4 E88, so about as bad as you're going to get. But they have no other options at shortstop off their bench. Nobody. Oh, they do have Belanger, as a matter of fact, but I think we're going to stick with Thomas. So Daryl Thomas. Actually, you know what? Scratch that. They would have used Belanger, so let me change that. We're going to go with Belanger, particularly with the lefty on the mound. And now my thing doesn't want to work. Why does it do that? A little correction tape got out of line here. I can do it now, maybe. No, I have to go to my other correction tape. That one got out of whack. All of them are getting out of whack, it seems. Okay, so this is actually going to be Belanger. And Belanger's a 2E36. So it will be Belanger, not Thomas. Thomas stays on the bench. It is actually Mark Belanger, longtime Oriole. He will be up in a big spot. Bases are loaded. Bases are loaded with 2 outs. No place to put him. Lucas to Belanger. Nothing on the Strat roll or the Havoc roll. Lucas, 6'10". That's a fly ball center field X. It's up to Rupert Jones to catch this or the game's over. Rupert Jones is a 2E6. 2 and a 20, he'll get to that. E6 and a 12. Is it an error? If it's an error, the game is over. E6 and a 12. Nope, no, there's no 12. There's a 15 there, but no 12. So Rupert Jones makes the catch. And we're going to the 11th inning. So how about that? We are going to the 11th. Stewart will come back out to start the 11th. And he'll be facing Lascano, Bavacqua, and Kennedy for the Padres here in the 11th. My score sheet's just about out of room, so I'm going to have to do something with that. Here's Stewart to Lascano. 6'3", ground ball pitcher X. Stewart's a 3E31. 3 and a 1. That's going to get through for a base hit. No doubt about that. That's a 10 on an E31. And it's also an error. How about that? You don't get many 10s that are errors, but E31 on a pitcher is an error. So it'll be a single and an error. So how about that? Sixto Lascano reaches on the single. And another error for the Dodgers. Both teams now with 2 errors. He's now at second base with nobody out for Kurt Bavacqua. And the Dodgers trying to get out of this mess. Here's the pitch to Bavacqua. 3-4. And he's going to walk Bavacqua. That puts runners at first and second with nobody out. And Terry Kennedy, the batter. Kennedy is not a good bunter, so they're going to have him swing away. Infield looking for, oh, it's a 1. Possible wild pitch. A 1-4. Nope. Oh, it's a 5. They just blocked it. So here's Kennedy. Nobody's being held on base. 4-11 off of Stewart. Fly ball left field X. The left fielder is Baker. He's a 1E8. 1 and a 15. I don't think anybody can advance on that. 1 and a 15 is an F3, but that would only be a sacrifice fly. It does not move the runner up from second base, I don't think. Let's see here. Nope, runner's hold. Actually, on that one, it wouldn't even be a sacrifice fly. It would be a runner's hold. It's a 7, and Baker is an E6. There's no 7. It's just a fly ball to left for out number 1. So Kennedy is retired, and that's going to bring up the new left fielder, Gene Richards, who came in to replace Edwards. Pinch hit for Edwards earlier. Stayed in the game to play left field. Stewart, nothing on that. Here's the pitch to Richards. 1-11. That's a ballpark single, but it's only 1-5. That's a 1, though. That's a single to load the bases. So the bases are now loaded. And we got a pinch hitter coming up for the pitcher, Gary Lucas. Padres will go to their bullpen again. And they'll go to Joe Lefevre. Joe Lefevre will pinch hit for Gary Lucas. And Eric Howe will be coming on for the Padres in the bottom half of the inning. It'll be Eric Howe. So right now it is Joe Lefevre. Bases loaded, 1 out. Infield, they're going to play in. They don't have any choice. They got to play in. Well, they do have a choice, but they're playing the infield in. That's their choice. 4-7 is a walk. It doesn't matter. Stewart just walked in a run. He just walked in Joe Lefevre. And the Padres now grab a 6-5 lead. And they're looking for more with only 1 out. And the base is still loaded. Back to the top of the order. And Salazar. Nothing happening there. 6-9, and oh, that's danger for Stewart. 6-9, 1-13 is a home run. That's a 5. He has normal power. That is a grand salami for Luis Salazar on that 6-9 play. That is a grand. He had done nothing all game, but he just hit a grand slam. And the Padres scored 5 in the 9th, and now they've scored 5 in the 11th. How about that? For wildness here on the game of the week. Luis Salazar, little Luis Salazar, did have 8 home runs on the season, but they do list him as normal power. So, there you go. That's going to be it for Dave Stewart. He is gone. Stewart will leave, and they'll get a new pitcher for the Dodgers, and that will be Terry Forster, a left-hander. He was 5-6 with a 3.04 ERA and 3 saves. So Terry Forster is going to come on and try to mop up here, and Howe will get the assignment to hold the fort in the bottom of the 11th, which shouldn't be too hard with a 5-run lead. Here is Bonilla. 5-6, and that's a ground ball to short. Out of room on the score sheet now. 2 down for Gary Templeton. Forster to Templeton. 6-8 rather against a righty. It's a fly to center, and that's going to end the inning. But a 5 spot for the Padres. So I'll go ahead and fix this. And we'll change this to the 11th instead of the 10th. The 5 spot. Padres now lead at 10-5 as we go to the bottom of the 11th. And the first things first, we have a pinch hitter for the pitcher, Forster. And we have the new pitcher, Eric Howe, in the game for the Padres. Eric Howe, 10-6, a 2.64 ERA. 14 starts, did have 3 saves. Of course, this is not a save situation. And for the Dodgers, they will have to have a pinch hitter for the pitcher. They've already used Mundy and Johnstone, so now they're going to go to, looks like they're going to go to George Orta. So George Orta is on to pinch hit to lead off the bottom of the 11th, but they're down 10-5. Doesn't look good for the Dodgers. 6-7 against a lefty for Eric Howe is a ground ball second base X. That is Bonilla. He's a 3-22. 3-9 is a good play. E22 and a 14. Oops. E22 and a 14 for a second baseman is a good play. 12, 17, and 18 are errors, but not the 14. And he's a 3 with a number 9, which is a G3. Good enough. So Orta is retired. Back to the top of the order for Steve Sachs, followed by Landreau. Howe. 1-8 for Sachs. He's going to fly to center. That's 2 down. And now the Padres 1 out away from a very improbable victory over the Dodgers and Fernando. Of course, Fernando's still probably upset he got pulled in the 9th. And Steve Howe just crapped the bed. 3-6 for Landreau. He's going to keep the game going. That's a double. So Ken Landreau, a 2-out double, keeps the game going for Dusty Baker. Of course, Landreau will not be held at second. Nothing on the Havoc. 3-6 for Baker. He pops it up to second base. Bonilla is there, secures the ball, and the ball game is over. And in a wild and woolly one here from Dodger Stadium, it is the Padres with 5 in the 9th and 5 in the 11th take a 3-0 deficit into the 9th and come away with a 10-5 victory in 11 innings. That's just incredible. Losing pitcher in the game is Dave Stewart. And the winning pitcher, Gary Lucas. There was no save. So there you have it from Dodger Stadium. First game in the NBC Game of the Week series, Saturday series. The next game will be from Tiger Stadium. It was played April the 17th on a Saturday. Now, I may put that out during the week to try to catch up because, like I said, I want to get this up to where we're up into May. So probably be sometime in June. I'm going to try to sync it in with where I'm playing the June 82 season with the June of 2021 on the calendar. So I may go ahead and put the Yankee-Tiger game up during the week. We'll have to wait and see. But this one is history here from Dodger Stadium. It is San Diego 10 and the Dodgers 5. Hope you enjoyed that presentation of Strat-O-Matic, 1982 style, game of the week style. And until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.